Hello everyone, happy hump day, we did it. Time is flying by. Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. So as usual, we have so much information to cover. I sometimes wish I didn't have to work 2 jobs, but here we are. I will cram in as much information as possible. I wanted to share this mug. It was gifted to me. And actually, do you guys know who he is? He's actually wrong. There's actually about 4 grams of protein per 250 grams of mashed potatoes. So it's still funny though. I like this doctor. I like this doctor. Today, I'm drinking danshan. So in English, I think it's salvia root. It's really common in Chinese medicine, and it's good for heart, circulatory support, stress management, and they even utilize it for strokes. And I went ahead and mixed it with the Solomon seal root. Is that how you say it? English is not my first language. And in Chinese medicine, it is considered a nourishing herb, and it's supposed to be a blood builder and inflammation soother. But I looked up animal models, and it actually shows it can improve and sometimes even reverse insulin resistance. So another fun fact, this is actually really good for flexibility. So like, who doesn't want to be more flexible? I do, because I am not. Now, it is a little bit bitter. And the flexibility is for muscle, tendons, ligaments. So it's a little bitter. I don't like to sweeten my teas. Now, yesterday, I mentioned Chief Fry. And I find it very ironic that I said, where has he been? We have not heard anything about him. Or the other dude, the creepy one, in my opinion, Officer Rosie. I literally just mentioned that yesterday, and today, what do we see when we go on the news? The Idaho news. We see a statement by Chief Fry saying that he is going to retire, that he's planning to retire in May after 29 years of service. Of course, all this is going to take place before the KOHBERGER trial. And it's funny because just yesterday I mentioned that when you put all these weird facts together, when you start putting the puzzle together, things just get more strange. And now Chief Fry is retiring. Is that strange to you? Because if it is, you can let me know down in the comments. By the way, since you're already here, you might as well subscribe. You might as well sign up for notifications, and you might as well leave me a thumbs up. And odd. Beginning of this case, we see the first chief retiring. It just seems highly convenient that Chief Fry is retiring before the trial starts. It's weird. 29 years. Why won't he just wait a little bit longer? What do you think the reason is for him retiring? Do you think he is being forced to retire, or do you think he is choosing to retire? I have not made up my mind yet. And I have mentioned the footage of Corner Club, where in the background, to me, it looks like Chief Fry. Now, people have told me it's not Chief Fry, that it is the owner of the Corner Club, but I have seen pictures, old and recent, of the owner of the Corner Club. in my opinion, the guy standing in the back with a black jacket, with his hands in his pockets, and that hat, it does not look like the owner to me. It looks like Chief Fry to me, in my opinion. Even the way his hands are resting in his pocket, if you compare it to other footage of Chief Fry, it sure looks a lot like him. Is it possible that it is Chief Fry? Let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Because I have zoomed in, I have compared basically all the photos online that I could find of him and the owner, and still, I've made up my mind. That, to me, is Chief Fry. That looks a lot like Chief Fry. Now, the night of the IDAHO4, Chief Fry was MIA, allegedly. Not only that, but remember, he was unreachable for several hours. And after someone got a hold of him, he allegedly said he had to change clothes. Why? You're the chief. Wouldn't you immediately run over if someone is telling you, a subordinate is telling you that something terrible just occurred? You have to change clothes. Like, was he in pajamas? Where was he? Or was he maybe moving something or someone? Of course, speculation. Just odd. Now, this is the same guy who was seen moving evidence in the U-Haul. Does Moscow PD not have a crime scene response trailer? Who just throws this stuff in a U-Haul? A lot of it doesn't look like it's even packaged properly, covered properly. They just, to me, it looks like they threw a bunch of stuff in a U-Haul. Is that how they handle criminal cases in Moscow, Idaho? Now, Chief Fry, the man who is going to supposedly be retiring here, is very suspicious, in my opinion. Okay, this is the same guy who seems to have a lot of ties within the community, and they need to be questioned. Because how convenient is it that the chief is the one who investigates, and Mrs. Fry, Julie, is the one who gets to type up the reports and keep the records? And is Chief Fry friends with Coroner Kathy, who happens to determine the cause of death? Because that does seem convenient. Not only that, but remember, a lot of these people, the ones I just mentioned, Julie Fry, Chief Fry, and Coroner Kathy, all attended the University of Idaho around the same time. They all graduated around the same time. How far back do they know each other? That is something that should be questioned. Why? Because it could be a potential conflict of interest. And I have made other videos on Coroner Kathy. Go watch it because I go into detail about this woman there. It's okay. Kathy, friends with Fry? Let me know down in the comments. This is a woman who said that the toxicology reports were not relevant. Okay. How unprofessional is that? How wrong is that for a coroner to say that? What if there had been drugs or fentanyl, or if they had been drugged? How are you going to say something like that as a coroner? Did you get back to Fry and you told him that? Or did Fry tell you to mention that to news channels during interviews? What do you guys think? This is the same woman who does not have a medical degree, because apparently it's not required in Idaho. This is the same woman who contradicted herself on TV and first said that all the victims were found in beds. But then later we found out that they were not. Why is she contradicting herself? Is somebody telling her? Is maybe a chief telling her to do or say such things? One can only wonder. Okay? She's a lawyer, a nurse who voted in who was voted in. Okay, she was elected as a coroner. Doesn't mean she knows what she's doing, in my opinion. And some of you guys don't know this, but Kathy, the coroner, actually organizes the organ donations for anyone who passes away outside of the hospital. Is there a conflict of interest there? What are your thoughts? Because if I lived in Moscow, Idaho, and I saw all these people who worked together, who maybe had a past, I would be questioning everything. What would you do? And we hear still that this is supposedly the safest town in Idaho. No. I just find there's something weird about this small, quaint town of Idaho. You know, town no foul play. That's what they should rename themselves at. Town no foul play, because it seems that all these weird unsolved crimes, a lot of them involving students, it's always no foul play, no foul play. Although there seem to be rumors and people that should have been investigated in a lot of these crimes. But what do we hear from Moscow, Idaho? No foul play. Is it possible that Chief Fry is leaving Moscow Police Department before shit goes down? I don't know what other way to put that, but if I was involved in illegal activity or maybe covering something up or not following protocol in a massive investigation, and you could almost lose everything, your pension maybe, yeah, I would also want to get out. Cash out while you can, right? Remember, this chief and the chief prior to him were in charge of Moscow Police Department when the Hudson case took place, Hannah case took place, which I've also covered those. Go watch those videos. Some people still have not heard of those videos. Weird stuff involving fraternities that, again, no foul play. And I wanted to drop some names in this video. I want you guys to know them. Because if something happens to me or to anyone, you guys need to look into this, because all these people, powerful people, people who have a history of being involved with the Vandals, the University of Idaho, they have all been protected. It's almost as if you are not part of their little group, they will do anything to kick you out. I'm going to start with Scott Green, who is a Kappa Sigma president, and to me, he just comes across kind of like a cult leader. Not to mention, okay, this guy's writing a book despite the gag order. That's a big LOL to the parents of the victims. You have parents who are obviously still in pain, obviously still suffering. They have to bite their tongue when they're doing interviews because the gag order. But here we have Scott Green writing a damn book. Interesting how he's allowed to talk about this, right? And write a book. Other weird stuff in Idaho. Chuck Staben. You guys remember the sexual harassment accusations, right? The guy who got the athletic director fired. The athletic director was Spear. And Spear actually had to settle and pay $100K, probably more with court costs. Then we have the accusations towards Jim Sutherland, the diving coach. Then there's a current scandal with the volleyball coach there as well. Then we have Emma Patterson, who came out, student, and mentioned Chris Gonzalez, another coach, who was pushing girls, making violent racist comments, withholding food, body shaming, and a lot of this was caught on camera by Emma Patterson. He put girls in a van, drove them about 100 miles per hour. Emma Patterson showed this video to the university. What did they do? Absolutely nothing. Emma actually came out later and said that she feared retaliation because she was the one that was outspoken about all this disgusting behavior that was happening. And who has been keeping tabs on Professor Denise Dene? Do you guys remember that? When the university tried to frame her as a meth user and sent a mass message to the university students saying that if you saw her, to call 911. Okay. A lot of the things that I just mentioned, those disgusting things, who was in power? Chief Fry and the previous chief, who already washed his hands and left. I just think, how convenient, Chief Fry. But I'm still wondering, is he choosing to leave or is he being forced to leave? Nonetheless, if he had anything to do with any of the incidents, crimes, horrible actions by the University of Idaho, and he never held any of those people accountable, despite reports being made by students time and time again, and professors time and time again, and athletic directors time and time again, then Chief Fry needs to be held accountable. That is all we can do. So, it's interesting to see people talk about Moscow, Idaho still as it's a safe town. You should come visit. We're so friendly here. But they're so secretive. They are so quiet about all these unsolved mysteries. Don't even get me started about the Hudson case. I've covered that, like I said earlier. Go watch that video. The IDAHO4 case is horrible. 4 young, beautiful people with their lives ahead of them. Gone forever. Nothing will bring them back. But we've had weird things happen before in this area. The case of Hudson, which I don't think garnered as much attention because it was just one young man. When we see a horrible crime of 4 young people, Moscow, you have our attention. So I feel it is our responsibility to dig deep, to find the truth and to speak the truth. And I'm stubborn. I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter if someone's getting threatened. It doesn't matter if somebody's wearing a badge, a uniform. I don't care. If I see something wrong taking place, people in power not being held accountable for doing their damn job, then it is our duty as Americans to say something. That's what it all comes back to for me. Yes, I want to get justice for the victims, but after digging so deeply into Moscow and their police department and their horrible track record, it is much larger than that. When you don't hold people accountable for their disgusting actions, what happens? Nothing happens. They continue to do it because they believe that there are no consequences. And I want you guys to hold me accountable too. I'm not above anyone. My parents raised me to believe that I am not better or worse than any other human in the planet. We are equals, whether you're wearing a badge or not. If I'm doing something wrong, you guys can let me know. And I would want to do the same for you. We're all friends here. But when you see a police department time and time again failing to do their duties, potentially covering things up, potentially stalking victims, yeah, we need to call them out. Again, I'm not even referring to just this case. There's a sticker case. Made a video about that. Whole other scandal. There's a Brent Kopacher case, which I've yet to talk about. A whole other scandal. What in the world is going on in this allegedly quaint town of Moscow?